The story begins during a time of darkness that fell upon the nation of Israel, when they were oppressed by the Philistines for 40 years. In the city of Zorah, there lived a man named Manoah. He had a wife, but they had no children because she was barren. One day, the angel of the Lord appeared to her and said,
Behold now, thou art barren, and bearest not, but thou shalt conceive, and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink not wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing, for, lo, thou shalt conceive, and bear a son. And no razor shall come on his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb. And he shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of the Philistines.
With joy and a bit of astonishment, the woman ran to find her husband to tell him about what had happened. Then Manoah prayed to the Lord, asking that the angel be sent again to teach them how to raise the child. The Lord heard Manoah's prayer and sent his angel once again. And Manoah said to the angel,
When your words come to pass, what shall be the rule for the child's life and his work?
The angel replied just as he had spoken to Manoah's wife before. Not long after, Manoah's wife gave birth to a son, and they named him Samson. And the child grew, and the Lord blessed him. And the Spirit of the Lord began to move him at times in the camp of Dan between Zorah and Eshtaol. As a young man, Samson went down to Timnah, and there his eyes fell upon a beautiful Philistine woman. Then he went to his parents and said,
I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife.
But his parents replied,
Is there not a woman among your own relatives or among our people that you must go to take a wife from the uncircumcised Philistines?
But Samson insisted that he wanted that woman. His parents did not know that this was from the Lord, for he was seeking an occasion to confront the Philistines. Then Samson went down with his parents to Timnah. Along the way, a young lion came roaring toward him. The lion attacked Samson, but by the power of the Lord, he overcame the lion with ease. The lion lay dead upon the ground, a testament to Samson's great strength. And after a time, when he returned to take her, he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. He took some of the honey in his hands and ate it as he went along. He also gave some to his parents, but did not tell them that the honey had been taken from the carcass of the lion. At the wedding feast in Timnah, Samson challenged 30 Philistine guests with a riddle. Let me put a riddle to you, Samson said. If you can solve it within the 7 days of the feast, I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. But if you cannot, then you shall give me the same. And they said unto him, Put forth thy riddle, that we may hear it. And he said unto them, Out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. And for 3 days they could not solve the riddle. And on the 4th day they came to Samson's wife and threatened her, saying, Coax your husband into explaining the riddle for us, or we will burn you and your family. Then Samson's wife wept and pleaded with him.
You hate me. You do not truly love me.
I haven't even told my father and mother. Why should I tell you? Delilah wept for 7 days, and at last Samson told her the answer. And the woman immediately told the answer to her people. And the men of the city said unto him on the 7th day before the sun went down, What is sweeter than honey? And what is stronger than a lion? And Samson said unto them, If ye had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him. And he went down to Ashkelon, and slew 30 men of them, and took their spoil, and gave change of garments unto them which expounded the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house. But Samson's wife was given to his companion, whom he had used as his friend. And after a while, in the time of wheat harvest, Samson went to visit his wife. But her father said,
I truly thought that you hated her. Therefore I gave her to your companion. Is not her younger sister fairer than she? Take her, I pray thee, instead of her.
Samson answered, Now I have cause to take vengeance on the Philistines, and I will not cease until I have avenged myself. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and took firebrands, and turned tail to tail, and put a firebrand in the midst between two tails. Then he released them into the fields of the Philistines. When the Philistines found out that Samson was the one who had done this, they went to Samson's wife's house and burned her and her father to death. Samson was greatly enraged and said, Because you have done this, I will not stop until I have taken vengeance. He then attacked and struck down many of them, and afterward hid himself in the cave of the rock. Then the Philistines went up and attacked Judah, seeking to capture Samson. Then the men of Judah came to Samson and said,
Don't you know that the Philistines rule over us?
Samson replied, I only did to them what they did to me. And they said,
We will hand you over to them.
Then they bound him and brought him to the Philistines. When the Philistines saw him and shouted against him, the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon Samson, and the ropes on his arms became like burnt flax and fell from his hands. And he found a new jawbone of an ass, and put forth his hand, and took it, and slew 1,000 men therewith. And he said, With the jawbone of a donkey I have struck them down. After that he became very thirsty, and cried out to the Lord for water to drink. Then God opened a hollow place in the rock, and water came out of it. Samson drank, and his strength returned, and he was revived. Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her. The Philistines learned of this, and waited for him at the city gate until morning, planning to kill him at dawn. But at midnight he arose, took hold of the doors of the city gate along with the 2 posts. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. Then the rulers of the Philistines came to her and said,
Entice him, and find out the secret of his strength. Each of us will give you 1,100 pieces of silver.
So Delilah began to coax Samson. Several times he deceived her with false answers, using fresh bowstrings, new ropes, and even by weaving his hair into a loom. But Delilah did not give up. She kept pressing and enticing Samson, until he finally revealed the truth to her. Then Delilah called for the Philistines to shave off Samson's hair while he slept, and his strength left him. Then Delilah cried out,
Samson, the Philistines are upon you.
Samson awoke from his sleep, not realizing that the Lord had departed from him. The Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, bound him with bronze chains, and made him grind grain in the prison. One day the Philistines held a feast to Dagon, their god, and they said,
Our God has delivered our enemy, Samson, into our hands.
As they shouted in celebration, they said, Bring out Samson to entertain us. Samson was brought out into the center of the temple, filled with thousands of people. He said to the servant who held his hand, Set me where I may feel the pillars which support the house, that I may lean upon them. Then Samson prayed to the Lord, O Lord God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, just this once, that I may avenge myself upon the Philistines for my 2 eyes. He took hold of the 2 pillars, one with his right hand, and the other with his left, and said, Let me die with the Philistines. Then he pushed with all his might, and the temple collapsed, killing all the people inside. Samson killed more of his enemies in his death than he had slain during his life. Then his brothers came and took his body, and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the tomb of his father Manoah. Samson had judged Israel for 20 years. The story of Samson reminds us that God can use anyone to fulfill his divine purpose. Samson did make mistakes, but he turned back to God and to his calling, even if it cost him his life. What lesson do you learn from the story of Samson? Share your thoughts in the comments below.